Hey guys, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and I have a book haul for you. Oh my gosh, do I have a book haul for you? I bought a lot of books in the month of March. I warned you guys. I said March was going to be ridiculous because it's my birthday month. There's a lot of books. So we're just gonna jump in. We're gonna just I'm gonna show you the books. I have a lot. So there's a lot. This basically this entire shelf right here is all the book haul. So let's just get into it. So first up, I have Ahimsa by Supriya Kelkar. I already read this. I loved it. This is in the new level 4 update. This is a story about a girl who is living through the upheaval of the Free India movement, you know, that Gandhi started, and they're trying to break away from British rule, and so you're watching like all of that happening around her and how she's adjusting to like her mother being part of the movement and what that means to her and her family. It's really good. Like, this was maybe one of my favorite books I picked up this month, and I highly recommend it. Another book that I already read was Great or Nothing, and this is by 4 different authors: Joy McCullough, Caroline Tongue Richmond, Tess Sharp, and Jessica Spotswood. I was so excited about this book, and I'll tell you guys now, it was kind of a disappointment. I hate saying that. I'd hate being negative about a book, but this is just not as good as I thought it was going to be. And I have a review on History Book by Book if you want to know more about my thoughts. So I'm not going to go into them here. Just know that this is not what I had hoped for. Was it terrible? No, I didn't even... It's a 3. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. I thought that it could have been better. It could have been done better. I think it would have worked better if they'd done what I would have wanted them to do. Whatever that means. But, you know, like I said, you can go check out my full review on History Book by Book. I'll leave it linked below if you want to check that out. I picked up When We Lost Our Heads by Heather O'Neill. I have just seen this book around a lot lately, and I'm curious about it. I don't even really know exactly what this is, besides it's about, like, best friends, I think, that are driving each other insane, which sounds intriguing. It's like historical, I think. It's set in, I don't even know when this is set in. For some reason I want to say the 20s, but I don't think that's accurate. Oh, yeah, okay. 19th century Montreal is where it is set. And the main character's name is Marie Antoine, so it makes me think there's something to do with the French Revolution in this, or it's alluding to like her being like Marie Antoinette. I don't know. I'm just super intrigued, and I wanted to read it. I got the March Nightworm pack this month, and it had 2 books in it again, and I'm excited about both of them. The first book was Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I've enjoyed her books in the past, and this is about vampires, I believe. This is her Vampires in Mexico City. So, very excited about that. I'm always looking for good vampire stories. And then I also got Sundial by Katrina Ward. I don't know what this is, but I love the colors on the cover. I just think it's very pretty. I don't know exactly what this is about. Besides it, it's some kind of a horror thriller type story. It's blurred by Stephen King. It's a mother and daughter story. They're embarking on a desert journey to the past in the hopes of redeeming their future. I don't know. I have no idea what this is, but I'm very curious to read it, so. I'm really in the mood for horror, you guys. I don't know. I've been reading a lot of historical, and now I just really want horror. And I'm getting the Nightworms, which is giving me lots of exciting things to pick up. So, looking forward to that. I have The Lost Letter by Gillian Cantor. Last month I read Beautiful Little Fools by Gillian Cantor and absolutely loved it. Now I want to read everything she's ever written, of course. So I bought this. This one is set in Austria in 1938, as well as in Los Angeles in 1989. So you get dual timelines. I think it's about somebody learning about their parents or grandparents past in the war. Very excited to read this. Basically, I think it's revolving around a letter that they uncovered, and they're trying to like find out what happened. I picked up Stealing Home by J. Torres David Namisato, and this is a graphic novel about Japanese internment. So always looking for things on that. I don't know. World War II is a pet topic of mine. You guys know that. So I was excited to discover that. I picked up, or I pre-ordered rather, The Most Dazzling Girl in Berlin by Kip Wilson. I read White Rose by Kip Wilson last year, I think. Loved it. And this one is about a girl who's, after her 18th birthday, Hild, an orphan in 1930s Berlin, goes out into the world hoping to find her place. So we are, like, coming to Berlin in turmoil. I think this is set before the war starts, but, like, building up to it. So I'm really interested to see what she does with this book. Loved White Rose, which was about Sophie Scholl and all of the White Rose movement, basically, that were protesting what was happening in Germany and Hitler and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she did with this. I pre-ordered Sabaa Tahir's newest book, All My Rage. I really want to read this. Of course I want to read it. I bought it. But this is like her most autobiographical book, I want to say. And it's a story about a girl who is in California. Her family moves to America from Pakistan, so they're dealing with being immigrants in this new country and, like, figuring out, like, their place in the world. I can't wait to pick this up. I have The Summer of Lost Letters by Hannah Reynolds. I don't know, this just kept stalking me, basically. I kept seeing it, and I was like, maybe I should buy that. And then I kept saying, not now, and I ended up just buying it. I don't know, I just have a really good feeling about it. This is a story about a girl kind of uncovering her, I think it's her grandmother. Yeah, it's the summer before her senior year in high school. She's broken up with her first boyfriend. One day, some letters just show up at her door, and they're love letters from a mystery man named Edward. And so she finds out that he's from Nantucket. She goes to visit Nantucket and find out more about this mystery. And it revolves around the Holocaust. And I just feel like I'm probably going to love this. I have One for All by Lily Lainoff, and I was excited when I heard about the premise of this. This is basically a story retelling the Three Musketeers, but the main character is a girl, so it's like a gender flipping of the Three Musketeers, and she's got a disability. So I'm always excited for stories with disability rep written by somebody who has experience with that disability. But, like, basically everyone kind of assumes that the main character is incapable of doing things for herself because she has this illness that makes her dizzy and weak and lightheaded. And she's proving them all wrong because she knows she can do whatever she sets her mind to. So I'm excited to read this. Then I also picked up On a Night of a Thousand Stars by Andrea Yayura Clark. This is set in Argentina, I think. Yeah, in the 1970s. I bought this to read during March Through History. Did I get to it? No. That's fine. I still really want to pick this up, though, because I'm always looking for stories set in South America. There's not enough, I don't think, so I would like to read this and review it for History Book by Book. I have a few other things that I picked up new, and then I'm going to show you guys my insane library book sale haul. So get ready for that. I have the art book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. This is basically art history, art appreciation, that sort of thing. So it goes through different time periods, different types of art, that sort of thing. I just really like these. I like how they're organized and set up. I kind of want to buy all of them. I own quite a few, but I didn't have this one, so I went ahead and bought it because I think we're going to use this for our art history next year with my daughter when she's in 8th grade. I bought The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. I have been just seeing this everywhere, and I just have this feeling, I have a feeling that this is going to be nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award. And so I wanted to try to, like, keep up with new releases when possible, especially historical fiction new releases, so that maybe I can actually vote this year in that category. I feel like I've never been able to really vote in that category, maybe once, because I just haven't read the newest stuff yet. So, making it a goal right now that I'm going to try to read some new historical fiction this year so I can hopefully vote. But I feel like this would be in it. I have a feeling. This is a story about, what is this about? I know it's about Agatha Christie. This is a story about Agatha Christie and her husband, Archie, and they go missing or something. And I don't really know exactly what's happening in this story, but I know it's about Agatha Christie, and it's about like this period of time where she disappeared or something, and they're uncovering what happened. I also picked up Antoinette's Sister by Diana Giovinazzo, and this is a story about Marie Antoinette's sister and like that time period of like turmoil during the revolution and what happened. So very intrigued by this. I really want to read more things set in France, especially during the revolution. I just think it's a cool time period and I want to know more about it. I have the Poisoners Handbook. This just has been speaking to me for a while. I've literally had this in my cart for like 2 years. I finally was like, why have I not bought this? So now I have. I own it. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I kind of feel like this might fit in one of the high school levels for science, for Build Your Library. I don't know if that's true or not. It might not actually fit anywhere, but I really want to read it. This is like a kind of true crime kind of a thing. It's this murder and the birth of forensic medicine in Jazz Age New York. So it's set in a really interesting time period. I love stuff like this, so I just really want to read it. So finally let myself buy it. I have Jawbone by Monica Ojeda. I have just been seeing this everywhere. I'm trying not to buy anything horror related too much because I do get the nightworms. I'm just nervous that I'm going to end up getting a duplicate of something if I keep buying things, but like I keep seeing this book absolutely everywhere. I really want to read some horror in April, so I wanted to get this so I have it as an option. I don't even know what this is about. I think it's about either best friends or twins. Yeah, it says Fernanda and Annalise are so close they're practically sisters, a double image, inseparable. So how does Fernanda end up bound on the floor of a deserted cabin, held hostage by one of her teachers, and estranged from Annalise? I don't really want to read any more than that. There's more synopsis on the back, but I don't want to read it because I don't want to be spoiled by anything. I kind of want to go in blind. But I've just been seeing this around absolutely everywhere, and I'm dying to know what it is. I have Cold. This is by Mariko Tamaki. And the blurb on the front is a boy, a murder, a girl, and a secret. This is like a YA thriller, and I don't buy a lot of these. But for some reason, this book cover is speaking to me. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about it, but I was just like, I need to have this. So I do. All I know is it's a story of a boy who died and a girl who wants to know why. And she's uncovering this. And this is YA, but it looks kind of like middle grade. Just by the type, it's like, I know it's not middle grade. Like, I literally opened this and there's swears right there on the page. So I know it's a YA book, but it just, I think is going to read super fast. And I also picked up Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian. Also kept speaking to me. I don't know. I don't read a lot of thrillers because they usually don't work for me. And yet, I bought 2 thrillers. What am I doing? I don't know. I hope I don't hate them both. But this is speaking to me because this is a story about a girl who is a psychopath. She knows she's a psychopath. And she's in college and she's part of this group of psychopaths who are being studied. They're in a clinical study of psychopaths. Chloe is one of 7 students who is being studied in this clinical, like, scientific study of psychopaths. When one of the students in the psychopath study is murdered, it becomes a game of cat and mouse. Like, who did this? And she has to figure out who did it. So I just feel like this is the kind of story that I'm going to enjoy. There's a lot of thrillers that I just cannot get into. I don't really enjoy thrillers that are about like marriages gone bad, crime thrillers where it's like a police detective trying to solve a murder. Like, I don't like that. But this, for some reason, seems like a book I'm going to enjoy because it's being inside the head of this psychopath and like her trying to unravel how come this other psychopath got killed, who did it, I think I'm gonna like it. And then I also bought or pre-ordered Louisa June and the Nazis in the Waves by L.M. Eliot, and literally I bought this because of the cover and the title. This is middle grade. I just thought this cover was gorgeous. Always looking for World War II anything. My daughter also loves it, so I feel like this is a book we can probably share together. It's blurred by Elisa Carbone, who wrote Blood on the River, which is a book I've loved, so I'm hoping this is good. I'm not going to go into details because I don't know them. Besides, it's set in like the home front of World War II in America, and it's about a girl. I think she's looking for her brother. Everything else I have here, which is a lot, at least equal to what I've just shown you, I picked up at the library sale. That was the first time I'd been able to go to one in 2 years, and I was so excited. So I bought a lot. I have Lilac Girls by Martha Hawk Kelly. I just know this is World War II. A lot of these I don't really know what they are, but I've seen the title before, or I vaguely know. So I'm not going to go into detail. World War II story. That's all I got. My husband insisted I get this. I hope it's because he's going to read it. This is Knut, Madness of a Viking Warrior by Kyle Miller. I know absolutely nothing about this, but it's a Viking story, so perhaps my husband's going to read it. I have City of Thieves by David Benioff. Loved this book. I read it as an ebook several years back. Loved it. Never had a copy though, and I kept denying myself purchasing a copy because I'm still bitter about Game of Thrones and what David and Dan did to it. So I didn't want to give him my money. But I loved the book. And so when I saw it at the library sale, I was like, haha, now I can own a copy and David Benioff gets none of my money. So take that, David. I have The Masterpiece by Fiona Davis. I have a few other books by Fiona Davis, and I haven't read any of them. I don't know. But this one looked like 1920s-ish for some reason, and I just want to read it. I have Portrait in Sepia by Isabel Allende. I literally just said not very long ago that I wanted to read something by Isabel Allende. So I bought Portrait in Sepia, as well as The Sum of Our Days. So now I have 2 of Isabel Allende's books. Will I read these anytime soon? Probably not, but I own them now. I have The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michelle Richardson, another one I've seen a lot. I have absolutely no idea what it is, but there's books in the title, so I'm hoping I enjoy it. I have Heretic by Bernard Cornwell, and I'm very mad at myself because I literally could have looked this up while I was there, and I didn't. This is the 3rd book in a frickin' trilogy. I'm just like, why? This is the 2nd time I've done this. I'll have to go look up the other 2 books and see if I can get copies of those, but, you know, now I have this one. I have The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. I want to say that this is YA historical fiction about Jack the Ripper. Will I enjoy this? I don't know. I'm always intrigued by YA historical fiction, and it's like 50-50 if it's going to work for me. So, we'll see. But I like Victorian London, Jack the Ripper type stuff, so I'm hoping it's good. I have Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. This has been on my want-to-read list for a while, so when I saw a copy for $3, I snatched it up. I really don't know tons about this. I by a true story. It's of children who are, I think, adopted or something. They're sent to an orphanage. It's in the 1930s, going into the 40s, so I don't know if this is like involving World War II or not, but I've heard lots of really good things about it. I got The Boy Who Loved Anne Frank by Ellen Feldman. I've never heard of this book before, so I was really excited by the title. You guys know I love Anne Frank, and so I want to read this and see what I think. Obviously it's about Peter. That's all I can figure is this has to do with Peter. Yes, so this is like an alternate history. Peter survives the war and comes to America. I have Margot, also by Gillian Cantor, which is the same basic premise, except it's her sister Margot survives the war and goes to America and changes her name and everything. So maybe I'll read both of those back to back. I have Skeletons at the Feast by Chris Bohalian. I don't even know what this is. Aha, okay, so this is a World War II story. Very interesting. I've been collecting books by Chris Bohalian. I've read none of them, but I now own, I think, 3 or 4 of them, so perhaps I'll eventually get to that. the most exciting thing I found at the library book sale. Oh my god, I cannot even believe it's a Buffy book. This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Spike and Drew, and Pretty Maids All in a Row. It's written by Christopher Golden, which is an author that I've been dying to read. I now own like 6 of his books. I have read none of them. But the reason I got so excited about this, besides the fact that it's Spike and Drew, and you guys know, my dogs are named Spike and Drew. You know, I love Spike and Drusilla. They're like my favorite thing in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And this is not only that, but it's also a World War II story. This is set during World War II. Oh my god, I'm so excited about it. This is like the first thing I'm going to read when I finish level 4 because I'm just like, I am dying to pick this up. So excited. I'm finally going to read a Christopher Golden, and it's probably like his weakest thing he's ever written. I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe this is his best work. I don't know. Next up, I have Emily's Ghost, a novel of the Bronte sisters, which is why I grabbed this. This is by Denise Giardina. I have absolutely no idea what this is. I've never heard of it before, never heard of this author, but it's a story about Emily Bronte and her sisters. So I love them, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I have Shanghai Girls by Lisa C. I have already read this and loved it, and so now I own a copy. This is set in China just at the beginning of the war, and these 2 sisters are fleeing the country just after the rape of Nanking, and they're trying to escape to America. They immigrate to America, and it's like following them and their story. It's beautiful, and I loved it. I've read the sequel as well, which is, I think, Dreams of Joy. Loved it. I have Girls of Riada by Raja Alsani, and I don't know what this is, but the cover is just beautiful. I don't even think this is doing it justice. Like, it's gorgeous. It's bumpy. It's just, I love it. This is a translated book. It's recounting forbidden details about the private lives of 4 young women from Saudi Arabia's upper class, and it became a sensation all over the Arab world. And now it's translated in English. I'm just like, I'm excited to read that. It sounds amazing. I have Serena, a novel by Ellen Alpston. This is set in St. Petersburg in 1725. Peter the Great lies dying in his magnificent winter palace. Catherine Alexeyevna is ambitious, ruthless, and passionate as Peter himself. And she's got to, like, save Russia, basically, after his death. It sounds great. I love historical fiction set in Russia. I have The Poe Shadow by Matthew Pearl. And this is like a murder mystery, solving the murder of Edgar Allan Poe. So, don't know anything else besides that. We're almost done. I have Carlos Ruiz Zafran's book, The Prisoner of Heaven. It's just, I love this cover so much. I don't know what this is. Never heard of this book before. But I really want to read it because it's beautiful and everything's falling. I don't know if you guys are aware of how tall this stack is in front of me. And then finally, the last book I'm going to show you is The Marriage of Opposites by Alice Hoffman. Collecting her books as well. Read none of them, but I'm going to try to get to these soon because I really want to read something by her. I don't know what this is, but I have it. I'm going to try to stack this in a way that you guys can see. There's 40 books. I counted them before we started. I'm basically hiding in this cave of books. That's what's happening here. Hi. I bought a lot of books in the month of March. Oh my god. So I bought a lot of things. But I have 0 regrets. Because I love my books. And I'm excited to get to everything. Will I get to everything here? Who knows? But, you know, I have options. I will never run out of things to read. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me while I show you all of my pretty new books. Did you get anything new in the month of March? Am I echoey? I can't tell. It probably sounds weird. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.